Duh, I picked the wrong stream. So I'm like sitting here thinking, where is everybody? And then I come over to YouTube and there you are. And yeah, I just picked the wrong stream. I think yep, there we go. Okay, now we're ready to go. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I really need your help. So, let's see who's all here. We have Annie, Ilya, my mama, Donna. Yep. And yeah, so thanks for being here, guys. So, yeah, let's just start. I'll show you what I started working on yesterday. And this is not one that I'm going to work on today. Some paintings I just have to work on my own. So here's the one that I started working on yesterday. Another doll. I have to turn hello Meta. I have to turn the brightness down really far. Otherwise, the hot pink just like will blow your eyes right out of your head. But yeah, so starting on a new doll. And I'm super excited about this one because she's going to be a little bit different than what I typically do. So the vast majority of this is going to be very bright outside. So it's not going to be totally dark, but her face is going to be almost completely in shadow. I'm kind of nervous about that. A little bit of highlights at the top of her eyes and on like her nose and her mouth. But other than that, like her face is going to be pretty shadowed. So, yeah, we'll see if I can pull this one off. I thought about putting her in a frame and painting the frame with it like my other dolls or like some of my other dolls. But she didn't want that. She said no. So I have a frame ready for her when she's done. This is one that I bought that I was going to prep to paint in, but she didn't want that. So I just have to decide how I'm going to paint this. I don't know, but I think that will look really good on her. Not gold. I don't know yet. We'll see. I'll figure it out. If you have any ideas, let me know. But yeah, super happy with her. Okay, so before we decide what I'm going to paint today, I want to tell you what happened to me yesterday because it destroyed my momentum painting my doll yesterday, and it's going to impact the way I paint forever now unless you guys can help me out. So I think most of you know that when I'm painting alone, I wear headphones. I have to listen to either audiobooks or podcasts or watch YouTube videos or movies, TV shows, whatever. I have to have my mind occupied. I cannot listen to music. It does not keep me occupied. One of the things that I listen to the most is audiobooks. And for years, I've used an app called Scribd. And then it changed its name to Everand, which was a horrible name, I thought. But I've used that app for like 5 years or so now. And it was really cool because it wasn't like Audible. It was just like a monthly fee, like $10 a month. And you could read tons until they throttled you. I got throttled one time. I think I read 10 audiobooks in a month. That's a lot. So they recently changed their program so that if you upgrade, you can unlock one extra, like a premium audiobook every month. There was something I wanted to read, so I was like, okay, cool. I don't mind paying more. I like this service. And I'll get, an extra unlock of like a premium book every month on top of the books that I already listened to. But what they didn't tell me was that everything in their catalog was going to turn into premium when I updated. So essentially I updated for more money and got one audiobook per month. So that was not, I was not happy about that. So after a little back and forth with customer service, I ended up canceling my subscription. So I no longer have audiobooks to listen to, and that is really devastating. I'm really upset about that because that's primarily what I listen to. So if any of you know of any audiobook platforms, not Audible, not Everand, I don't want to have to pay per, book I listen to or whatever. But anyway, if you know where I can get good audiobooks for a decent price, please let me know, because I am not about to start paying $30 per book. That's not happening. So it will be podcasts and maybe Netflix for a while. So we'll see. Anyway, yeah, that threw a wrench in the wheels yesterday. Okay, so let's talk about what I should paint today, because I have two things that I'm kind of thinking of. One is our challenge image, the bottle. If I could challenge myself to paint it in an hour without caring about, is it ugly? Is it, am I doing it right or whatever? So I can do that. Or I did fix up, some of you will remember this. Let's see, I can turn this up. Yeah, Annie, exactly. And that's exactly why I canceled that. I'm like, I'm not going to pay more to get one book a month, because I will seriously tear through a book a week. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot, but remember, I'm only listening while I'm painting. So either our challenge, or I did fix up the house a little bit, and started working on that so we can go back to this. So you guys let me know. Castle of Spirits is a good one. Thanks, Donna. I appreciate that. But I hear enough of my own voice. So what should I paint? Should I keep working on this little house? Or should I work on the challenge painting? They wouldn't let me do that, Ilya. I asked them. I said, I want to go back to my previous. They said, oh, you can't. Sorry. So, yeah, that was great. Anyway, while I wait for somebody to tell me what I should paint, I'm just going to get this positioned in case this is what we paint. If nobody has any suggestions, then I'm just going to paint on this one. Path of least resistance, The challenge painting. Oh, right. Ooh, it's hot in here. Hang on, I gotta grab a canvas. Okay. It is a real challenge, and I honestly have not even been thinking about this, like how I will go about doing it. Haven't even given it any thought. So this is going to be a very pure challenge, since I've had no forethought. Okay, let's see. I don't even know if I have the image on my phone. I'll have to see. Thanks, Donna. I appreciate that. Yes, you did. Meta, how many times did you do it? At least twice that I saw. Somebody else did it twice too. But you guys have all rocked it. Annie, I know you said that yours wasn't done, but I was like, it looks pretty stinking good to me. Not that that's the point. It would be totally okay if it looked awful, because that's part of the challenge too. But it didn't look awful. It looked great. So did yours, Meta, both of them. All right, let's see. Is that good? That's good. Okay. It might be a little bright. Let's see. Ooh. There we go. You're working on a third? Good grief, woman. You're on fire. Let's get a new plate. I'm not going to dirty a palette, like one of my wet palettes today, since this is only going to be an hour. Okay, let's see. How am I going to do this? I need to get the image on the canvas first. Where did my pencils go? Of course, I took them back to my desk. Ooh. I have a different idea, actually. Since this whole challenge is about experimenting and, you know, just enjoying and learning and putting limitations and challenges on ourselves, that's what I'm going to do. So I am not going to grid this. I am not worried if the image looks okay. None of that. Do I have it on here? Oh, I do. Okay, excellent. All right, so I have my image right there. Oh, cool, Ilya, I'll go look at it. Oh, it's there right now? Let me go see. Yeah. Heck yeah. Good job, Ilya. That's a nice start. Okay. So, we are challenging ourselves. We are not worried about how good it looks. We're just learning. So, I am going to start sketching it out on my board with an Inktense pencil. Some of you guys know what these are, some of you might not. And I'm going to use a color that I don't see really in this image. I'm just going crazy on it. So this is the poppy red. And so what I'm going to do is sketch it out super loose and then start painting in this red. These Inktense pencils are super saturated, and this color absolutely will affect the paint that I put on top of it. And I'm excited to see how. All right, so sketching. Let's find my horizon-ish area, or the surf break right there. Just kind of bury that back end a little bit more. That's a little big. I think that's all right though. I'm just kind of making marks where I see them on the image. I'm being nice to myself. I don't care about accuracy. Just introduce a bit of this color all throughout. Has anybody ever used the Inktense pencils before? These things are crazy. All right, I think this is a little bit big. I'm just gonna bring it down. I think that'll be better. Okay, let's start painting, and I'm not gonna think about colors. I'm just gonna kind of grab the first colors that I think might be needed, whatever that means. Okay, so we have blue, yellow, orange, brown, maybe some black. Let's go cobalt. Ooh, I like this cadmium orange from Utrecht. Remember I showed you this guy? And it's like, that is not cadmium orange, but this is like the brightest, most luscious yellow I've ever seen in my life. White. I don't like to use white, so let's use white. I'll use some panes. Where did you go? Cobalt blue there. It's over here. Sorry guys, I'm such a mess. But you know that. Okay. So I'm going to start with, I'm not going to even mark in my values first, because that's what I would usually do. So I'm just going to go straight to color. That feels really uncomfortable to me. Woo! Okay. Oh, and he's thinking about getting some. I would say the Inktense are pretty fun. All right. What brush would I typically go for? I would probably go for this brush. So I'm not going to. I'm going to use... You know, I'm going to use this weird angle brush again that I used the other day. And I'm going to use water and not matte medium. Scandal. Since it's all about just experimenting. All right. Cobalt blue mixed with any brown just gives the best grays. How do I usually do my brush strokes? We're gonna do them long. I'm gonna try that. If you see me not doing long brush strokes, like wide, yell at me. That's my goal. That's one of my limitations. So tempted to start going up and down. I'm going to take this ugly thing real serious. Not water. Yes, water. I know. Okay, where is paint? Let's get some paint. I can never open this. Think twice before you buy paint in these little pots. Woof. Okay. We have a kind of dark spot right here. You can see that red in there a little bit. I like that. It's just unexpected. So tell me about how the challenge and maybe the courses we've been doing the last few weeks, or the subjects we've been covering the last few weeks, like how has that helped you in your painting, if at all? If it hasn't, that's fine. Let me know, and let me know maybe why you think it hasn't helped, and we'll see what we can do. I have so many pencil sets too. Yeah, maybe a small set. They are not cheap pencils. They are expensive. My one thing that has prevented me from no, I guess I can't really say that, but the one thing about them that I don't really like is that they're not really, what's that called? The light. They fade in the light after a while. Somebody tell me what word I'm looking for. It's helped you choose different mediums without overthinking. Excellent. And then you're able to kind of learn about those mediums, right, Donna? And figure out, did I like that? No. How did it compare to other ones? Or, yeah, that's good. I like to hear that because I know mediums can be really, really, light fast. Thanks, Ma. Mediums can be super confusing. The blurred background gave you some trouble. Exactly. No rules. No rules. I'm not doing too bad keeping my longer brush strokes, just going from side to side. Let's cut in around our bottle, but very loosely. There's a little bit of that yellow in there. We're starting to get to the beach. It's kind of where the beach is. It is darker there though, but we can come back. I love painting messy. love just getting in there and just making an absolute chaotic mess of mix on my palette. I do kind of have to cut around this with a bit of a different brush stroke. Long only. Again, a little darker, a little browner as I move down the beach toward the bottle. Painting with acrylic paint this wet and thick on my brush, can you see how glopped that is? It kind of feels like I'm using oil paint, which is interesting. Let's darken that a bit too. A little shadow color there. Start on the bottle since I've got all this blue-gray on my brush. I have to go sideways. Except detail work. I'm going to let myself do detail work however I need to. Like here. Okay. Three to 4 hours to get that far. Well, I don't know if you've noticed that I'm just like, I genuinely don't care. Like if I were painting this really, oh yeah, it would not look like this. I would not be this far into it. It would not look like it does. Because we don't say mean things about our paintings, even if they're intentionally ugly. That's part of the challenge. It would look very different if I were painting it for real. All right, let's get the ground in the front. Some black, some yellow or orange or whatever Utrecht calls it. Painted my phone. It's cool. It's had paint on it before. Won't be the last time. Okay. I think I'm done with this brush right now. I'm not going to be able to get into the bottle adequately with this brush. I'm going to use my little, remember my number 4 cloud brush? I haven't used this brush in years, son. So I'm going to use it right now for something it was not made for using. It's not intended to be used in this way, so it should be nice and challenging. Let's finish up the bottle. Just kind of down here. Where are we going to have that? Right there. Okay. I'm really just kind of doing it, I feel like a little kid would. I see a color, I put a color, you know. The bottom of the bottle, it's got a dark line, so I'm just putting a dark line without care of like how it actually looks. Another dark line right here. And I'm trying to make myself say that's good enough. So that line I just put, it looks kind of crappy, but you know what? It's good enough. It got the color where it belongs. It doesn't matter if it didn't cover the way I had intended. It got it there. Exactly how you did it too? Perfect. Exactly. We do things like approach all of this in just like the purest way, right? The purest way would just be, oh look, here's a dot of color. Okay, that's good enough. I see another dot of color right about here. And you know, without messing with the colors too much and changing them, and you know, but I'll come back to that. That was just an example of like, just see the color, place the color. We're not worried about it right now. Okay, I'm gonna get the paper in there because otherwise I'm gonna lose it, I think. Come on. There we go. Okay, so our paper, right about here. Get your angle at least in the same ballpark. Come on, Jane. See how far back I'm holding my brush. Man, there's so much about this that I just want to go over and like smooth out lines or fix things, or you know, I don't typically like big juicy blobs of paint like that. It bugs me. I mean, you know that I scrub out all of my paint typically, but I'm trying really hard to just leave it. Let's darken up the base of that. What happens with what, Ilya? If you use cold wax with acrylic, I wouldn't. Cold wax is meant to be used with oil. It's compatible with oil. I would say it's probably not compatible with acrylic. But yeah, cold wax, yes. I was going to say if you're going to use like not impasto, what do they call that looks like a tamale. Now I'm hungry. What's the hot wax called? I think the hot wax you can use with acrylic. All right, now we're starting to overwork this. Stop. Encaustic. Yeah, encaustic you can do with acrylic. That's hot wax. It's like paraffin wax. Oh no. I'm sorry you're not feeling good, Tammy. Ilya asked a question about cold wax and acrylics, so that's what we were talking about there. I don't have like a sharp amber color to use on the end of the bottle, so that's going to be good enough. See, if I had an underpainting here, all of the white that's showing, I wouldn't even care. I'd just be like, cool, we're leaving that. Yeah, we've got a little bit right here. I never paint like this, guys, and I am here to tell you that I am enjoying it. I've always wanted to paint like this, to be that artist who just slaps it down and it still looks like a tamale. Oh, I know what we can do. Oh, Donna asked about it. Sorry. See, it's really hard to pay attention to a million things. Let's see. Yeah, let's fix our bottle just a little bit. Because it looks like the the paper is outside of it a bit, but that's okay. I'm going to kind of break those edges anyway. You can't see that all the way. Just blur it out. I think I lost the edge of my bottle. I don't even know where it was supposed to be. Okay, my bottle is looking rough, but I am not unhappy with it. All right. Let's keep going. Gotta get there's a rope, a string, something wrapped around that bottle. So let's get that on there. And my big strange brush. All right. I'm really gonna loosen up on this because I want this to be nice and messy. I don't want it to look too purposeful. it's also blurred out a little bit by the bottle. I hope you guys can't hear my stomach. My stomach is really rumbling, which it should not be doing. My bottle really escaped right here. It's getting a little overworked, but I don't care. Like at a distance and I look at it on the screen, I think this looks rough, but I think it doesn't look bad exactly. So that's really encouraging actually, guys. I feel like if I were putting actual energy into painting like this, like intentionally with the super loose and the chunky brush strokes, maybe I can become a person who paints like this, like I've always wanted to. But maybe I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Like, I think I saw you guys sharing one of her books recently in Discord. There's an artist that I really love. Her name is Patty Mollica. And I look up to her style of painting so much. So much. I wish I could paint like her, but that's been a really challenging thing for me. You think it looks great? Thank you. It is rustic. Get some more blue. I need more blue up in here. So if you guys aren't familiar with Patty Mollica, I think you should look her up. She's pretty great. I have several of her books. Seriously, my stomach sounds haunted. It just went, woo. Yeah, it's here. I'll grab one of her books and show you. Hang on. Oops. Here's one. This is a color theory book If you guys want a good book on color theory, I seriously cannot recommend this one enough. It's just a small book. It's, but Patty Mollica. So it's, come on, Pattimollica. But look at how juicy her brushwork is. She's just incredible. Let's see. Like some of these landscapes. And then I just love her stuff so much. And look at how simple that little flower looks. Love it, love it. She is so good. Well, I don't know that it looks fantastic. I do appreciate that. That's very kind of you. But really, it's just because I have nothing invested in this. The only thing I have invested in this painting is trying things that are different for me. So painting in this way is so different for me. Like, this is basically the antithesis of how I paint. And it's really challenging. But seriously, in my head, I'm like, I don't care. I don't really care how bad this looks. I'm not embarrassed by it. I kind of want it to look bad, but I'm also just really enjoying seeing these brush strokes that I don't usually make and catching myself when I start to make corrections to tighten up closer to how I typically paint. I'm kind of noticing that and I'm like, nope, don't do that. Just get the color in there and leave it alone. And that is just not how I do. This is all getting really, really, it's not choppy and blurry, so I'm just gonna kind of blur out some of this a little bit. That's better. I do think that Patty Mollica paints in oil primarily, but all of her techniques you can do in acrylic. Like, I've learned so much from her. And, I do use a lot of stuff that I learned from her in acrylic painting. Just not the juicy brush strokes, obviously. But yeah, I think it's important to learn from a lot of different artists, no matter what their medium is, because you never know what you're going to find and bring to your own painting. Like, I would say the artists that I've primarily learned from over the years have been oil painting artists. I am going to make a nice crisp, it's not terribly crisp, but I am putting a little bit of intention into that line. So it's a little bit crisper because the bottle is our focus. But if it gets inside the bottle or it's wonky, I don't care. Same there. Sorry, my cat feeders are so loud. Just messing that color up a little bit so it's not just this big weird yellow-brown line. Let's get that a little bit bluer. Just a big messy color. Kind of our shadow. Whoops. All right, now down here, all bets are off. We're just gonna slam some colors in there. Oh, is there a question? Thanks, Ilya. And meta, would you call this impressionist style? No. I think I'd call it more expressionist. Expressionism is more like just really just, you know, like getting it done, just having these bold, almost chaotic brush strokes. So I would call it expressionism. I don't know if that's really right, but I feel it's more expressive than impressionist. I think that'll be good enough. I don't want to spend too much time doing all these little tiny dots and textures, she says as she digs in and starts doing that. And now, how much time do we have? We didn't start this exactly an hour ago. Yep, expressive brushwork. Yep. That's Patty. You know, I don't really worry about what a style is called, simply because I don't think that there's a... Man, that really looks good on the camera. It does not look that good standing right in front of it. But I don't spend a lot of time worrying about what a certain type of art is called, because there is so much overlap. There's so much overlap. You know, you could make a case for this being on the verge of expressive, impressionist, abstracted. You could definitely make a case for all of it. My standard painting style, you know, my landscapes, I tend to call it neotonalism or nouveau tonalism, simply because I'm inspired by tonalists, and that's kind of the space I'm trying to attain, but through my own interpretation, which means it's not a pure tonalism, so I can't really say it's tonalism, so I just made up the term neotonalism or nouveau tonalism. And so yeah, I don't worry about it too much. Okay, now I am going to go down to a smaller brush, since I am super encouraged by what this looks like. I'm gonna dig into some detail work here. that. I should try a series of this. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Like, the thought of taking this to an actual painting that I want to be good is super scary. So I have to figure out, what does this feel like, you know, to paint like this? Like, what does it actually feel like? So that when I'm like, okay, let's do a good painting, I'm more familiar with the style and the feeling. And that's the point. That's the point of all of this. And I really am going to finish up here in just a second. Maybe I'll work on it for a few minutes after I let you guys go, because I'm not completely unhappy with it, but the water in the back would definitely need a little bit more attention. Kind of like that. Looks like there's a little bit of light shining through the bottle and kind of reflecting on the ground there. That didn't go so well. Let's bring that back. It's a little better. All right, I think I am gonna be about done here. And then I'll let you guys go so that you can go do some too. Leave the water. Maybe. I just feel like there should be a little bit more of a disconnect here to say this is where the surf is breaking, this is where the ground starts. So here, let's see if I can do it just real quick. I think it's a dark line, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little darker, kind of brown, kind of Payne's. So I'll just find a Payne's brown mixture here. Water. All right. Holding it way far back. And let's see. I'm gonna go here, yeah. Not too bad, actually. I'm kind of surprising myself here, guys. For reals, like, I didn't know that I could paint like this. I'm under no illusion that this is a good painting, but this technique has promise, and I am actually excited to try it again. I was a little disappointed when this got picked to be done today, because I was like, oh, I don't want to challenge myself, but I'm glad that I did. And that's how I want you guys to feel when you get in there and start doing that super thick. Just this part of the bottle looks stupid. So we're gonna go, maybe there's rocks or something. It's leaning up against some rocks or something there. All right, I'm gonna call that done. What do you guys think? Well, thank you. You guys are so nice. Thanks. I'm pretty dang happy. I I seriously had no idea that I had that in me. So I know that that means that I need to do it again. I need to approach it in the exact same way as I just did, you know. Time limit, making sure that I'm doing things in an uncomfortable way. I picked my colors just like as quickly as I could. I mean, I didn't pick random colors. I did it with intention, but it was still like, yeah, that's good enough. So I want you guys to make sure that you're doing things like that for your challenge, okay? Pick colors with intention, but do it as fast as you can. Pick your brushes with intention, but as fast as you can. Things that you don't typically use. As you start, find a challenge for yourself. Okay, I'm only going to use this kind of brush stroke for this part, or whatever it is. Just find some little ways to kind of challenge yourself while you're doing it, and then don't think about it. Just do it. Just start doing it. And if it looks garbage, that's okay. As long as you're enjoying what you're doing, you're learning something, and it's completely valid. Just seeing a little spot I want to change. So, yeah, I guess that's it. That just got a little out of shape there. That's better. All right. Yeah, I could keep messing with it for a while. Okay. Thank you guys. Oh, you make me feel so good. I really like all of the ones you guys did too. So maybe I'll work on it for 5-10 minutes, and then I'll post it to the Discord. And I hope that you guys all keep posting yours too. So yeah, I guess I'll let you guys go. And I am hoping to do another live tomorrow. So if you guys are around tomorrow, I would love to see you. And thank you for making me feel very good about myself today. So yeah, thanks everybody. I had a great time hanging out with you today. So I will see you later. Goodbye. Maybe.